We bought our Christmas tree from a small lot just outside of town. The kind run by one man, no sign, and hard to find. The kind of place that relies on word of mouth and reputation. We looked around for about half an hour. We noticed every tree available had abnormally large trunks. The owner was wearing a cowboy hat, but in a Christmas style. He was watching us like a hawk the whole time, with a grin from ear to ear, like a young and eager employee looking to impress. We chose our tree, which was a decent size, about 6 feet tall. Then the man excitedly offered to help us tie it. When he helped tie the tree to the roof of our car, he leaned in and said, "Great choice, perfect size. I've been waiting for that one to go the whole month." That night, the house smelled strange. Not pine, something damp, sour and strong, almost like body odor. I assumed we just chose an old tree, and it was beginning to die. Every day afterwards, I noticed strange occurrences. Ornaments on the lower branches kept moving, not falling to the ground, just turned in different directions. I chalked it up to my wife moving them to prank me. Every morning they were in random directions, even in different positions. And since I got the tree, my cat has slept in my room and wouldn't leave my side. He hisses every time he's near the tree. I was thinking of throwing it out and getting another, but it was only 2 days before Christmas. On Christmas Eve, my wife asked why I'd moved the presents closer to the tree. I hadn't, but I thought maybe she just forgot where they were. That night I woke up because the living room light was on. The tree was leaning, not fallen, leaning forward like it had been pushed. Underneath there was a pair of muddy boot prints. They led from the tree to the hallway. I followed them to the spare room. The door was open. Inside, the air had that same sour smell that came from the tree, and hanging in the wardrobe was a cowboy hat, the one the man from the tree lot had been wearing. I was shaking. I couldn't understand how any of this is connected. I sat in the living room staring at the tree until sunrise, just trying to understand what I just saw. Christmas morning, the tree was dry, brittle, dead, and at this point it had fallen fully whilst I was watching it, lost in thought. I decided enough is enough. I dragged it outside, but something heavy shifted inside the branches. I cut through the branches to get a closer look and maybe actually understand what's going on with this tree. It turns out there was no trunk, just bark wrapped around a hollow space, big enough for a man. Last Christmas, I was home alone. My girlfriend went to see her parents for the holidays, but I stayed to watch our dog. On December 18th, I heard carollers outside, 3 women. They stood at the end of my driveway singing softly. Their voices were wrong, too slow and deep, like they were dragging each word out. But they were quite old, so I took little notice of it. When I opened the door, they stopped. All 3 stared at me without emotion, nor movement, like they were waiting for my next move. Then they began singing again, only this time they used my name. I froze and stared back in confusion, and then told them to please leave my property. They took no notice of me and sang over me. I gave up and slammed the door and locked it. I was thinking it was a prank or a setup, so I looked through the window to see if they were still there, and thankfully they were gone. The next night, they came back, 4 of them now, same song, same dead expressions. They stood closer to the house. On the 3rd night, there were 5. At that point, I had enough and I called the police. They found footprints in the snow, bare feet, leading around the house, but never away. They told me to keep the door locked and keep an eye out, and it was most likely just people trying to scare me. On Christmas Eve, I was in my room and woke up to a power cut and singing inside the house. coming from downstairs. I crept downstairs and toward the sound. I walked into my living room and found them standing there, dozens of them, elderly women, all wearing my clothes, all singing aggressively. They sang the final line of the carol together. "Thank you for letting us in." The next thing I remember is blacking out. I woke up Christmas morning in the snow outside my house. My head was ringing. The door was locked, and from inside I could hear them singing again. I worked night shifts at a small shopping mall during December. My job was simple: lock doors, monitor cameras, most importantly, stay awake. On December 23rd, the mall closed early because of a snowstorm. The only people left in the mall were staff or security that had to wait for the storm to stop before going home. I was alone in the CCTV room, seeing if anyone else was stuck in the mall during the storm. I was trying not to fall asleep, but my coworkers helped keep me awake on the radios. Around 2 a.m., one of the cameras flickered. Camera 6, Santa's Grotto. I zoomed in. The chair was empty. The lights were off. Then something moved behind the curtain. I assumed it was a decoration malfunctioning until the chair creaked. Someone sat down. A man in a Santa suit leaned forward into view. The suit looked old, stained. The beard was yellowed. He stared directly into the camera. I felt uneasy. At first I thought one of my coworkers were fooling around. I grabbed my radio and said, "There's a man in a Santa outfit in the grotto." There was no response. So I went in the mall speaker system and said, "Can the person in Santa's grotto please report to the front desk?" The man smiled, then waved. Then the radio crackled in my hand. A child's voice whispered through it.
"He's not the real one."
All the mall lights shut off at once. I ran to the generator and turned on the emergency lights. Then I went to the grotto to talk to the man. When I reached the grotto, the chair was empty again, but carved into the back of the chair were dozens of tally marks and one message scratched deep into the wood. "Naughty list updated." I reported it to the police. They said it was probably just kids messing around, but I knew it was more than that. The next morning on Christmas Eve, the news reported a missing child from the area. She was last seen on camera in Santa's Grotto, in the mall I worked at. I quit that job immediately. Every year since, I still check the mall cameras online on Christmas Eve. Santa's chair is always empty, except at 2 a.m.